Brother Ali, thank you very much for coming to see me today. And it was really a great pleasure meeting you at the youth gathering in Istanbul. How did your journey to Islam begin?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First, to appreciate your invitation to your program. The story is quite simple. Nothing special about my story.
There is always something special about any story.
I coming from Czech Republic, from the family of Croat descent. My family moved to Czech Republic after the Second World War.
So your family is originally from Croatia?
Yes. Oh. And my great-grandfather left his previous homeland because of the war and its consequences, and he was anti-fascist, and there was fascist regime. And after the war, Czech Republic was searching for a new people, for new citizens, because of they expelled many people of German origin, more than 1.5 million actually. So at first they were taking foreign Czechs, and after that the rest who was here, who applied, he was accepted. So my great-grandfather somehow succeeded to get there, because everything was destroyed of his property by the Ustasha regime in Croatia, and he started new beginning from zero.
So your family is Catholic originally?
My family is, or should be, traditionally Catholic, but they were leftist. They were secular. They were more leaning to left ideologies. So they had not much with religion, but neither they do suppress religious feelings. For example, my grandmother from mother's side is coming from very religious family. She is Moravian, like from Eastern Czech Republic, and she is from very religious family, Catholic family. But no one never felt oppressed in our family in terms of faith. And what is important, why I am speaking about my great-grandfather, is that point that he was internated in a very bad and notorious concentration camp called Jasenovac on Bosnian-Croatian border. And with him
that was before he migrated?
Before he migrated, yes. And there with him was also another prisoner called Mustafa from Sarajevo, Bosniak, Muslim. And they managed to get out of the camp together, and the good remembrance of one good Muslim, Mustafa from Sarajevo, remained in our family. For that reason, we did not have any prejudices or any kind of racism or xenophobia towards the Muslims. So all was open.
So your great-grandfather was always talking about Mustafa?
Yes, he was always talking about Mustafa. Then after him, my grandfather, because my grandfather visited with my grandmother, they visited Sarajevo in 60s or 70s, I don't know. And they met actually Mustafa's family after the war, like 20 years after the happenings. And all the time Mustafa was telling him and his son that all what is in my house is yours. And from that, the very big and good trait of good remembrance remained of Muslims, of Bosniak, of believers.
So this story has something to do with your own conversion?
Yes, this story has to do with my conversion, because this was the reason I did not feel anything against Muslims, because Czech Republic is quite notorious in the statistics as one of the most Islamophobic countries actually in Europe. During the migration crisis, they were on the top of the list of the sociologist polls. What Western or Eastern does not matter, but the Czech Republic was very profoundly hit by that streak of Islamophobia or the wave of Islamophobia during the migration crisis in after 2014, 2015, 2016.
What feeds this, nationalism or religion?
I think really it's not a religion, because
Not
in
religion.
Czech Republic organized religion is on demis. But I would not, or I would never say that Czechs are not religious, or especially maybe Moravians. Moravians are more traditional and they are more Catholic. There is organized religion in my part of the country, sure. But in speaking on the Republic, about the Republic, in as entire, that we can say there is a religiosity without organized religion.
But you were, you yourself, you were born Catholic?
I was not born Catholic. I am not even baptized.
Oh, really?
Really.
So your family was completely agnostic?
My family was completely agnostic. Maybe they or someone there believed there is God.
So you grew up what?
I grew up as nothing, as a free thinker, let's say, as agnostic, as without any religious denomination or without any organized church or anything else I would subscribe to. So
when
I was Alhamdulillah, somehow on my fitra. In those days, these new strands of thinking were not yet fully they were not existing basically in Czech Republic. So they were not fully present.
So
and
when were you born?
I was born in 1987.
So that was just before the collapse of
the collapse
Eastern Bloc.
of the Eastern Bloc. I was 2 years old, or yes, basically 2.5. I'm in June. Old when the Eastern Bloc collapsed and the regimes changed, and it was very strange time. I mean, it was the time of when the old ceased of existence and the new still was not yet present. So it is like the empty time in between something, some two eras.
You were born into an era of transition.
Yeah, I'm the child of the transition.
So when did you come to know about Islam, really?
Yeah, it was during my teens, on 14. When I was 14 years old, approximately, I was searching for the guidance. I was pretty sure there is God. But for me, it was just one God who wants good for me and wants me to behave good and does not want me to behave bad. And does not matter if you call him Yahweh, if you call him Allah, if you call him Manitou or whatever else. Just one God. And I ask him, "Oh my Lord, I know you are here. Please give me a book. I will find response to all my questions I ever asked." So while I was, and I liked very much to read about the old travelers, discoverers, or the old people from my country who went somewhere and saw something and were describing that. And especially I was appreciating the writings of those who visited Muslim countries, because somehow I liked the atmosphere, somehow I liked the people, their conduct between each other, the trustworthiness, the when you are somehow estimating your guest, I mean, when you give him all what you have and all of that, it's somehow also maybe honestic, the kindness to the guest. Maybe it is also some sort of personal reflections of the old story about Mustafa. I don't know. I don't know.
You were at school at the moment, at that
I
time,
was
right?
in that time at the school, definitely. It was the grammar school in Mikulov, my home
So
city.
it wasn't that you met someone who spoke to you about Islam. It was your own search.
It was my own search. I did not speak to anyone about Islam. I didn't even not know any Muslim. And while I was in the process of reading, I came across the Czech translation of the meaning of Holy Quran from the Czech Orientalist and Muslim. He was Orientalist and he embraced Islam himself, Ivan Ahmed Herbeck. It is still the most, from 72, I think. It is by far the most used translation of Quran up to nowadays. It's quite old. It has some traces of the past socialist era, because Ivan Ahmed was not able to publish it without tendentious and biased introduction. But now some brothers also took that book and put out that introduction and put another introduction and put the tafsir of Abdullah Yusuf Ali with that. But it is half work, because the translation is one thing and the tafsir is another thing. It's not going hand to hand, because it is Abdullah Yusuf Ali wrote it for his translation. And they combined two. But nevertheless, it was very, very good source of information for me.
It motivated you to search further.
Yeah. It was very encouraging, by the way. And in the year 2001, on spring and summer, while I was finishing the reading of this piece, I was more and more convinced that I am Muslim, and I already was Muslim, but I did not know the name. That it is called Islam, and that what I am believing is called what I am, the sort of believer, is called Muslim, the one who submits to the will of Allah.
Muslim by fitrah.
Muslim by fitrah.
Subhanallah. And what did you do then?
Then I was switching my school. We have 8 years grammar school. In Czech Republic, there are some grammar schools which last 4 and 4. That means 8 years. So first 4 years I finished in Mikulov, and the second I changed my grammar school in Mikulov for another grammar school in Řečkovice in Brno, the second largest city, the capital of Moravia, the eastern part. You have Bohemia and Moravia in Czech Republic, for those who know. And while in Brno we have mosque, big mosque, not so big, but the biggest maybe, or next one in Czech Republic. But what is important, this mosque is from 1998, is the oldest and up to now the only mosque built as mosque. We have many mosques,
built
some
by
of them even maybe bigger,
or by expatriates.
Expats maybe,
people who came from
majority,
outside, from the Arab world or the Muslim world.
In majority of them are students. In the socialist era and soon after, many students studied mainly engineering and medicine in Czech Republic, from Yemen, from Iraq, from Syria, mainly Syria, also from Algeria.
From socialist leaning countries.
From the friendly countries, so-called. We call it friendly countries of socialist camp.
Nevertheless, some of them were observant and they built the mosque.
Obvious. Quite a number of them were observants. You have a lot of secularists, but quite a number, significant minority were observants. And
that was your first contact with the Muslims?
That was my first contact with the Muslims. I mean, the organization or the process of organizing of Czech Muslims, let we name them Czech Muslim. For me, Czech Muslim is not ethnical Czech, or for me is whoever is able to speak Czech and to talk about Islam in Czech. For me, is Czech Muslim. And since the 90s, they were organizing firstly on the accommodation for students and dormitories and like that. And after that, they started to plan building of mosques. And the first, alhamdulillah, it was we, like the community in Brno, who managed it. And the other university cities, they suddenly followed us. So since 98, we are existing in Brno.
So it was there where you embraced Islam?
And it was there where I embraced Islam. I was actually Muslim by myself. I said Shahada in front of, just for me and my Lord. And I was... in that time, it was 2002 or like that, I was already knowing how to pray. I just came to my masjid in Brno and I said Shahada in front of people. I just
became public.
Came public.
What about your family then? What was their reaction?
It was slow process. So they already knew that I am Muslim and I am praying. So it was not something special or new or something I bam out of nothing, like from the sky, But
they could tell that you were going there.
Yeah. So when I said to my mom that I was in Brno Masjid and I publicly declared my Shahada, she was not against. She was not embarrassed. It was not any kind of big news for her. She just waited for that. She accepted it happened. Okay.
And she respected your choice.
All the time respected my choice. My grandfather also, my grandmother also. My father does not live with us, so he wasn't
involved.
Yeah. He was not involved in the whole process.
Now it seems, I mean, you made this journey on your own, and you made it on gradually. I mean, it took you some time. Were there any challenges, or was it a smooth transition?
In the process, I was perceptive young personality. So I did not, looking back to that days, I don't see some big challenges. The biggest challenges were in the society. The biggest challenges were how the society, not my inner circle, let's name it like that, but the wider society will accept me as Muslim. And also soonly after I became involved in activities of Brno Masjid. So as a Muslim, just for myself, I would say I've never came across any grave challenge or any animosity or something like that. But as a person who somehow tries or strive for da'wah, for spreading the message, that's another story. People in Arabic we say salih. People like those who are good.
Yes.
Those
who are
righteous. But they don't like muslih. Those who try to correct things, to make righteous, to bring the society to the right path.
Well, this is the story of prophets.
Yeah,
it's not about being righteous in yourself. It's about wanting to change the world. That's what it is, isn't it?
It is like that. And imagine when you are 15, when you are 16, when you are 17, in your teens, in your adolescence, when you are 2-3 years Muslim, you don't want anything than change the world, and this thing combines, and from that, I faced some challenges. Bad approaches, prejudices against Islam and Muslims. It was time of invasion to Iraq. Also, it was time after 1911.
True.
I remember few months before
9/11.
Yeah, before 9/11, and the rest is after.
And the propaganda against Islam and the Muslims.
Definitely, the propaganda, and this was quite challenging for me and quite unpleasant for me to see that.
When the whole world was anti-Islam, you decided to become a Muslim.
Yeah. Actually, I decided to become a Muslim a little bit before, and now as a fresh, full of this enthusiasm, and I was seeing all the world is against my faith, all the world is against my ummah, against my people. It is challenging quite.
Now, are there many ethnic Czechs who are Muslim?
Not so
popular?
much. In Czech Republic especially, but to gather all the people from all of the world who are ethnic Czech, Moravian, Slovak, let's say, who are Muslims, it will be thousands, maybe even, I don't know. but maybe even lesser tens of thousands, maybe. But far majority of them lives outside former Czechoslovakia.
Are you still in Czechoslovakia, or have you? Oh, no, the Czech Republic. Sorry,
I'm still in Czech
you are
Republic.
still there.
I was traveling. I was studying in Slovakia, but it's not a foreign country. By the way, I mean, it is still part of our great country.
You
from
were
the
one
past.
country.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from the country I was born.
Yeah.
In the end, and I also was on the exchange study during my doctoral study in Sarajevo in Faculty of Islamic Sciences.
You have a
So,
doctorate?
not yet, but I am waiting for.
You're working
Yes.
in Sarajevo?
I was in Sarajevo, but my alma mater is Comenius University in Bratislava.
Now, of course, when I met you, we spoke in Arabic, and your Arabic, mashallah, is quite fluent. Where did you learn Arabic?
Firstly, with my brothers in Masjid Brno. Jazahumallahu khairan. May Allah reward them the best locally. Then, when I started my study program in baccalaureate first in Brno, then in Bratislava on comparative religion, we had to have 3 semesters or 4 semesters of so-called source language. So those who will specialize, let's say, on Judaism, they took Hebrew. Those who will specialize in history of Christianity, or I don't know, they take, for example, Greek or Latin. And we who wanted the Islamology specialization took Arabic, naturally.
You
So
Arabic,
to read Arabic and to understand Arabic is necessary. If you are even fluent and if you used Arabic on daily basis, better for you. And then also I started, or actually soon, quite, yes, since maybe 2004, 2006, I was learning with my shuyukh, with my teachers from Bosnia mainly, but also from another parts of world.
So you travel to Bosnia frequently?
Yeah, I travel to Bosnia frequently. And with my teachers, with my shuyukh, I also learned something of Islamic sciences, something of the sciences of Arabic language, sarf, nahwu, and like that.
Have you been to any of the Arab countries?
Yeah, but just in Saudi Arabia for Hajj and for Umrah.
Oh,
in 2007, we were like 48 or nearly 50 guests of the king. That time, I mean, now we have the new king in Saudi Arabia.
It was King Abdullah, I think.
King
at that
Abdullah,
time.
I think so. And I was one of those who were invited. So it was big opportunity for me, and I grabbed the opportunity and I went to fulfill this what my Lord made me a duty.
Now you're still studying for your doctorate, right?
Yes.
And what else do you do? I mean, do you have a profession, or are you dedicated to da'wah? What do you do?
Yes, I am now actually without any stable job. I am dedicated to da'wah, and I am searching for how to manage these projects to have stable source of income. So in terms of da'wah, I'm still active as a volunteer in our masjid in Brno. I returned to Brno. I returned to my Moravia, to my Czech Republic, and I'm one of the preachers. I am giving sermons every Friday in Masjid Brno.
In the masjid itself?
In Masjid itself, we have very diverse community of believers, basically from Morocco to Indonesia, from Tatarstan to Tanzania. Every people, every race, every color, all languages. So we need to have 3 lingual sermon: Arabic, English, Czech. And I'm that guy who is responsible for having these 3 language mutations.
Now, do you the situation in the Czech Republic improving for Islam, or is it not?
We were speaking about the bad period, the empty years between
after the collapse of the Soviet Union.
Yes, also, but after the collapse of the Soviet Union, the years were good. They were empty, so everything was possible. It was good. People did not know anything about Islam, neither positive, neither negative. And it was the time of the impact of building mosque with no major problems. Now it is not possible because of the opposition to build a new mosque.
Now
it is strong opposition, or it was, and it is now, alhamdulillah, again somehow diminishing because of the actual situation. First it was coronavirus, and then it is the Eastern European war between Russia and Ukraine and the West. So now we can say Putin solved some of our problems when he invaded Ukraine. So now he is the bad guy. The eye is on him and we are left alone somehow. Alhamdulillah. It's the situation of now. But before, when there was the migration crisis, and the migration crisis brought mainstreaming of Islamophobia in Czech society. There was always Islamophobia in Czech society, but it was far right margin. With the migration crisis, the narrative became widespread. Of course, everyone was using that narratives, including the major, like the pro-democratic, non-populist, non-extreme parties. They were also reproducing the narrative. We don't want to change our culture. We don't want to embrace, or we don't want to invite any immigrants here. They will change our culture. Islam is not compatible with our values, and all of that stories. It was very, very mainstream in Czech Republic.
It's the same rhetoric everywhere, by the way.
Yeah.
But I guess the migration crisis in the Czech Republic is because Czech Republic is in the east, and migrants come through that pathway.
By the way, Czech Republic was even not in the route.
It wasn't.
It wasn't even on the route, because all the people were going through Hungary and Austria.
What then caused the crisis in the Czech Republic? Why did they?
I have a theory. I have a theory, and the theory is quite unpleasant. Czech Republic is Central European country. Basically, it is part of the old Eastern Bloc. We have our culture. We have our traditions. We are not the West. Many Czechs will not agree. But it is what it is. And we are playing the game after the fall of the old regime, that we belong to the West, and that we will be the West, and that we will reach the Western level in economy, in education.
But this is what the Ukrainians also believe.
Yeah, and this is also bad.
Same problem.
This is the same problem.
Yeah.
Our way is different. I'm not saying it is better or it is worse, but it is simply different. We are not here to imitate and to blindly follow the West. Although many people in the East, or in the former East, like Ukrainians, like majority of Czechs, they want, but it is not like that. And part of the problem is this animosity towards Muslims. After the 11th of September in 2001, there was some sort of rhetoric that the West is in the war with Islam. You know,
the war on
Samuel
terrorism.
Huntington wrote his Clash of Civilizations and all of that stuff. The American neocons were spreading these narratives, you know, and to belong to the West.
You needed
for the one
to adopt the same rhetoric.
Means to adopt the same rhetoric and to become Muslim hater. Because good Westerner hates Muslim, because Muslims are with the in the war with the West. So to take a part in the West, to be part of the West,
you needed to hate Islam.
Yeah, somehow you need to hate the Islam, to spread the hatred and to adopt. It is, I think, we are not Islamophobic inside.
It's
this
the
is
politics.
something
It's the
political
politics.
we were taught.
Mm.
We were told to do, and we just listen and obey
Well,
to our
brother,
Western masters.
brother Ali, it's really been a great pleasure speaking to you. Thank you very much.
Welcome. It was pleasure for me to be part of your great session.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Jazakumullahu khairan. May Allah reward you the best.
Ameen. Ameen. And you
Ameen.
too. And you too.